So I was like, I'm gonna get my physique going as quickly as possible. I do not care about side effects. I don't care about any implications of, oh, this guy's using drugs. Like none of that shit really fazed me. So I just wanted to, get to my goals as efficiently as possible.
Yo, simply put, just want to part a little bit of wisdom on you guys today. Yoda, go ahead on and like, share, subscribe to my channel. Leaving the comments in the comment section below. Your comments will be greatly appreciated. Today, I want to talk about this guy, Clavicular. Now, every now and then people come out and these people pop up here and there and they kind of polarizing and they kind of, they pop for a little bit. And my thing about this particular guy, I know I gotta go ahead on and do a video on this guy because he not gonna be here long. Like that's really what I want to say. But Clavicular, he calls himself Clavicular, and so what he wants to do, he wants to come out and he wants to look the best possible by kind of any means necessary.
Well, I have always had the mentality that if something is going to get you to your goals quicker, then why not go for it, right? So when I was a kid, obviously I wasn't the most well-versed in pharmacology, so I didn't exactly know what I was doing, but I knew that it would help me get to the place I wanted to be at a lot more efficient rate. So, skipping out on that just seemed ridiculous. I thought, why would I work out as a natural, take years to make the progress that I can make in months? It didn't make sense to me at all. I was never worried about side effects. I was just worried about progressing, right? So that's kind of always been my mentality. I'm all or nothing with everything that I do, and I just needed to do it.
I want to look the best, the quickest possible. I want to create shortcuts to make myself look better in any means necessary. Now, this guy has been on steroids since he was like 14 years old, and I don't understand how his parents allowed him to do that.
Well, for a while, my parents would, go through my room and find steroids, often confiscate them. So that'd be a bit of a burden because sometimes I'd have to go like a few weeks without injecting testosterone. Well, they confiscated it. So it was hard at first, but eventually they started to realize that there was nothing that they could do about it. I was always going to do whatever it takes. So, once I had that realization, it got a little bit easier for everyone because, they stopped confiscating it and kind of just chose to plead ignorance on everything I was doing in terms of my pharmaceuticals. So that was kind of a tough thing to deal with at first, but it got easier over the years.
To me, it kind of shows kind of like where we are in our society and the things that people will do for instant gratification.
Do you think there was any pain you were trying to solve?
I really don't think so. And that's going to be something that a lot of people aren't going to believe me on. But that's just not my personality at all, right? In terms of insecurity, it's just not something I've really ever experienced. Like, I've been hyper aware that, over the course of development, there were some points in my life where I really was like very, suboptimal in terms of my aesthetics. But I was like okay with that because I knew that there was things that I could do, and I knew that the measures would be extreme. But I was like, well, this is kind of what it takes, and I was always someone who's willing to do whatever it takes.
So would you say it made you more confident after you did do these things?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's for the best because you get to experience life on the other side, right? These Looks Max creators, we're all genetically gifted. They don't really understand, how it is to grow up not exactly good looking. So it never made me insecure. I never really had my life altered in any way. I just knew that something needed to change.
He wants results right now. He's wearing makeup. He doing all these things and stuff. He kind of doing like some of these women out here, getting these surgeries, unnecessary surgery. You don't have to do that. Anybody who feels like they have to go under the knife to look better, that's a sign of low self-esteem.
Right.
Why do you value results over effort?
It's a good question. Because it's what people see, right? It's the first thing that someone is going to lay eyes on. They're not going to know how you got to your goal. They're just going to know whether you're there or not, right? So first impressions are all that matter. When you tell people that you're on steroids, after they see your physique and it's already conceived in their head that it's impressive, it's not really going to change their perception. That's what I've learned. So it's all about, the external appearance,
Do you value hard work at all?
No, absolutely not. I value efficient work. I value smart work. Hard work is a ridiculous concept.
To me, this is just kind of a cop-out. This is kind of a person he's really undisciplined because he wants to take shortcuts to get where he wants to go. At the end of the day, he's really going to mess himself up. We all know what it's going to be in the end. He's not going to be around for long.
So I'm not interested in just some lame, fitness journey where I'm natural. The journey is a lot more, interesting in my case, right? So, because I'm trying to optimize every single metric of my life. I'm not only interested in fitness, right? I am trying to IQ max. I'm trying to money max, like all these different things. Obviously, for the normies watching this, I say max at the end of everything, maximize, just for that clarification. But yeah, so I'm just trying to do so much more than the average person that I kind of have to cheat my way and cheat the system a little bit to be able to manage all these different things.
Now, I know people, I know men and I know women who are not the best looking in the world, and they still can get what they want. Women, normal looking women, not the greatest, but they got personality. They know how to talk to people. They know how to be kind to people, and they get what they want. I know some guys who are not good looking, who have talent, who know how to talk to women, and they get what they want.
So I think it's very reasonable, knowing these disparities, knowing things about, dating app statistics and how women are literally just filtering out people completely under outrageous height percentiles, right? We'll see women put their height filters on 6'3", and then you actually look at, percentiles, and we're like, you just eliminated 95 percentiles worth of men right off the bat with one filter and one metric. So while it might be outrageous at first thought, if we look at actually what's going on in the world, you start to find it quite reasonable for the times.
Why doesn't everyone do this? Just because of the money?
I just don't really think that people are logical. I think that people want to live in fantasy land. That's the blue pill, So they prefer to cope. They prefer not to know these things. But just someone with my brain chemistry, someone who's a little bit neurodivergent, it's just kind of unavoidable, right? I can't live in fantasy land. It's not possible for me.
As men, you really don't have to go that far to impress women. It's several ways you can impress women and get the women that you want. Women like tall guys, women like men with money, women like men with personality, women like men who can make them laugh, women like men who are entertaining. It's several ways to kind of get what you want and get the type of women that you want. You just have to understand who you are and what you can bring to that particular woman. And we all know there are women who have unrealistic expectations of men, and they want men to have all of those things wrapped into one. But you don't have to mutilate yourself.
Or do you prioritize health?
I would say no. I think I would wholeheartedly disagree with that statement. I would say that functionality is a better word than health, right? Because it is very likely that some of my lifespan will be diminished with the things that I'm doing. I don't believe that's from some of the steroids, but maybe some of the recreational drugs in conjunction with the steroids. So that's a very real possibility. But in terms of like functional health, I'm fantastic, right? I'm always very sharp. So there's nothing wrong in terms of that, in terms of the way I feel every day. So that's kind of all I'm concerned about.
Because once you start taking those steroids, you're going to have to stay on those steroids. If he ever gets off of those steroids, he's going to look totally different because his body is dependent on those steroids. He's dependent on drugs. He's dependent on makeup. He's dependent on all this stuff. And if he cuts his face and he has to have surgery on his face, he's gonna mess his face up. And then when he gets older, he's gonna look crazy. He's either gonna look crazy or he's gonna cancel himself. because he's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep pushing, and he's going to keep pushing the limits of this stuff.
So you don't care about maximizing your lifespan as much as your day-to-day.
Yeah, I'm not a huge longevity guy.
Do you think you'll ever stop taking steroids?
No, absolutely not. I think, how much in terms of, dosing, that will definitely start to lower as I get a little bit older, because once you get to a certain point, maintaining what you've built is a lot easier than getting to a certain goal, right? So I'll have to lower down to TRT dosages. You want to start having kids and stuff like that. The dose has to come down. You can't take certain steroids, things of this nature. So absolutely, yeah. Once I'm very satisfied with where I am in terms of my physique, I'll just start to maintain it.
And this is an example, like young guys, my advice to young guys, don't take shortcuts.
If you could go back in time, would you still take tests at 14 years old?
Absolutely, yeah. So everything I did, no regrets, right? So I'm 100% confident that I made the right decision in my life. And I'm so glad that I look a little bit more mature, than I actually am in terms of my age, because it's helped me a lot. We could talk about, some of the jobs that I've worked and the respect that I've gained from just having a little bit more presence in my life from, some of the pharmaceuticals I've taken. Literally the best thing that anyone could do.
It's nothing like being natural and working out and eating right, doing things the right way, because you can have longevity. And he even said it himself, he doesn't care about longevity. He cares about results right now. So he's the type of guy who wants a quick fix, and he's gonna get fixed real quick. But anyway, I just kind of want to talk about him before he get out of here. That's what I want to do. I want to talk about him before he cancels himself. Because this time next year, you're going to really see. And I'm going to do a video about it then. Like, he already kind of looked like a fool now. So anyway, just want to pour a little bit of wisdom on you guys today. Yoda, go ahead on and like, share, subscribe to my channel. Leave in the comments in the comment section below. Your comments will be greatly appreciated. And like I always say, love you guys millions, and I'll talk to you later. Clavicular.